Now to the pandemic, and financial markets have been rattled by a warning from drug maker Moderna that new vaccines may be needed to combat the Omicron variant of COVID-19. European stocks have followed the Asian markets, which were down by as much as 2.4% on Tuesday. Moderna's chief, Stefan Bancel, said the high number of mutations in Omicron and its rapid spread in South Africa indicates that vaccines will need to be tweaked. A number of countries have already banned travel to and from southern Africa, including Japan, which has now confirmed its first case. But US President Joe Biden has ruled out imposing another lockdown there and is urging Americans not to panic. Well, let's bring in Fadi Salame. He joins us from Tokyo. Fadi, despite those very strict travel restrictions we saw, Japan now has this case of Omicron. How is the government and the public there responding?
Well, the government has been very swift in enforcing across-the-board ban on entry of all foreign visitors to Japan. Since 0 o'clock today, they banned all foreigners from coming in the country, except for the foreigners who have residence there, and even those people who were exempted before from staying in quarantine facilities. Now they have to stay for 14 days, especially people from 14 countries that has seen the new variant of Omicron. So the government has moved very swiftly, and Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has explained that he understands that many people could accuse him that he has been too cautious about the issue, especially from the business sector, but he doesn't want to take any risks. This is one of the tests for his leadership since he took office in October 4th. So it's less than 2 months, and he wants to show that he has the leadership, and he doesn't want to fall in the same spot where his predecessor, Mr. Suga, fell when he acted very slow, and he preferred to emphasize on the economic activities, and that led to a backlash and forced him to resign later.
And Fadi, we are already seeing the economic fallout from Omicron as well as the travel bans.
Well, this is the concern of many of the Japanese public. Japan has seen a huge decrease in the numbers of infections during the last few months. Just on Monday, the number of infections in all of Japan was 82 cases only. So the people were feeling a sense of relief. But now, with the new information about the highly infectious variant of Omicron, people are getting now more worried, especially that also the government has drafted and issued a new stimulus package for the economy of about $400 million. So people had very high expectations, but now they are watching how the markets are tumbling, especially today in the Tokyo stock markets. Nikkei index has fell for about 1.6 points. So many people are concerned now about the economic situation, and we're coming to the Christmas and shopping season. So many businesses here are going to lose this chance because of the new variant.
Of course, and the world experiencing much of the same thing. Fadi Salame there with all the latest for us from Tokyo. Thank you, Fadi. Well, let's bring in Dr. Bharat Pankania. He's a senior clinical lecturer at the University of Exeter Medical School and an expert in infectious disease control. He joins us now from Bath. Doctor, thanks for joining us again here on Al Jazeera. There's obviously been so much speculation, so let's start with what we actually do know about Omicron. There are at least 50 mutations, I believe, 32 alone on the spike protein. And I know for many people that sounds pretty terrifying. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, we need to keep calm. So what it actually means is the virus is made of RNA, and this RNA codes for a number of proteins, etc. And in one section, which codes for the manufacture of the spike protein, there are many mistakes, or what we would call many mutations. And with these many mutations, the structure of the spike protein changes. And when the structure, meaning the shape of it, changes, it can become more infectious, less infectious, more disease-causing, and more interestingly also possibly bypass the vaccines. So it is the many changes in the spike protein that is causing all this interest and concern with Omicron.
You mentioned there about vaccine efficacy. Moderna is already saying that they're going to potentially take months to tweak their vaccine, but I did see that both theirs and Pfizer stocks have been rising over the past few days as markets have dipped amid all these fears that our current vaccines won't work. So can you talk us through how you see this playing out, especially in terms of time?
Yes, again, before we go on to the time issue, I'd like to reassure our viewers that I expect the current immunity from the vaccines so given will work. It may not work 100%, but it will work. There will be cross immunity. So I want people to feel reassured that all is not lost. How it works is very simple. What we do is the instructions in the vaccines, be it Pfizer or Moderna or AstraZeneca, are now tweaked to mirror the Omicron instructions. In other words, we use the code that is on the Omicron variant to code for in the vaccine. So when we give you that vaccine, the modified one, it now produces the protein that is found on Omicron. That's what it is. It can be done. It's very easy to do. The logistics take time, but to tweak it is very easy.
Sure. Well, in the meantime, though, we're already seeing community transmission of Omicron, and there are still obviously many of these travel bans in place. Are they, in a sense, buying time?
Yes, we are. We have to buy time, and hence the precautionary principle, which is whilst we don't know how this virus behaves, we restrict movement and we restrict the generation of new cases. Having said all this, it is really important to keep a calm nerve, because it may come to pass that Omicron is not as nasty piece of work as we think it might be. So in 2 to 3 weeks' time, we will know a lot more. In the meantime, we remain careful and cautious.
Dr. Bharat Pankania there, a senior clinical lecturer at the University of Exeter Medical School. Always great to have your thoughts with us here, Doctor, on Al Jazeera. Thanks for joining us again.
Thank you.